Hey everyone, Wayne Fox here. I've got a video today. It's a little different than my normal video. It's more about shooting video and really about how I do the video of myself. You know, I used to just do video of my screen and I talked, and then I got to where I'm demonstrating hardware like computers. And I also decided that, you know, doing my video of myself, including myself in them, it's a little more personal, a little more interesting to watch. Now, I do have a little different philosophy than a lot of them. I see some that like to put their self down in the corner and others that don't. I'm kind of one of the ones that don't. But what I do want to do is sometimes if I'm talking to the audience and there's nothing on the screen that's pertinent, I've got the camera set up so I can turn to the side, I can talk to the audience, and then when I want to go back to the screen, I turn it and I can overlay those and cut them in and out. Now the challenge has been, of course, I have to record it with an SD card. I've got audio coming in from my audio source, which is a little different than, you know, it's going through a whole audio system. And then I'm capturing my screen. I'm doing all that at the same time. And to deal with the SD cards was a real pain. So for a while, I've been looking for a way to capture the HDMI output of the camera straight onto the computer at the same time I'm doing everything else. Now, the program I use called ScreenFlow actually has the ability to do that. I'm still testing that because there's a couple of quirks with that. But I found that if I go into QuickTime, I can get really good audio and video, and I can do it all, so I can capture everything all at the same time. Whoops. And then I can overlay that and I can cut back and forth as I talk. If you watched any of my more recent videos, you might have seen a few where I'm doing that. And later in this video, I'll do that a couple times just to show how it works. So the device I found that makes it possible, that's pretty reasonable. There are things that I could have done all along, but they're a little pricey. Is this little CamLink. This is the CamLink 4K, and I found it's a little better than the original CamLink. I like to shoot in 4K because then I can shoot kind of loose, and then I can crop in on the camera or on the screen. It's kind of hard. Like right now I'm using a Sony a7R IV, so I don't have a good way to tweak my zoom a little bit if it's off. And so I'll zoom out a little wide, you know, because I'm shooting in 4K and I'm down-resing it to 2K. So it works pretty good. So that's why I wanted the 4K. They also give you this little cable in case this is too fat, in case that's too fat to go into your USB slots, USB 3. So all you do is plug the USB 3 into this end of the cable, plug your HDMI from your camera into this end, plug this into your computer, and then, like I said, I'm using QuickTime or ScreenFlow to grab it. Any software that'll support camera capture usually will support an HDMI. You'll have to check to see what ones you can use. I know if you're into streaming, that might be why you're checking it out. This, I think, is getting real popular with streamers. But if you know, there might be situations where you would rather just capture it straight onto your computer and not deal with an SD card. There are some advantages to that. Anyway, let's go hook this up, and then we'll do the rest of the video. So this is the HDMI cable coming from my camera. I just plug it into the CamLink, plug my little USB adapter on the end. This is my CalDigit dock, which connects to my Mac, and it's got a USB port right in the front, so I just plug it into that, and I'm good to go. Okay, so now I'm recording directly into my Mac through the CamLink 4K. I'm also recording to the SD card at the same time. Now, there is a way to set up the Sony so it only records to the HDMI, and you don't even have to put the camera in record mode to record to the HDMI. I'm doing it because what I'm going to do is I'm going to record from on both medias, and then I'm going to overlay them, and then during this last few minutes of track, I'm going to cut back and forth between the two, just to see if anybody can pick up any obvious visual differences. I've had a little trouble with the RX100 when I do that. It seems to be just not quite as smooth when I record from the HDMI. The A7R IV I seem to be does really well, and the last test with the RX100, I overlaid them like that and I couldn't tell the difference. So I don't know, I've been playing a little bit with camera settings. Anyway, as far as the audio will come through the CamLink HDMI line as long as the camera feed will. So if you're using an on-camera microphone, they all come in together. If you're using an external audio source like me, this is my Rode microphone. I like to use this microphone because with the lavalier, I pick up all the noise going on around. My furnace just kicked on. I forgot to turn it off. And then I've got, you know, hard drives and all kinds of stuff running over here. This doesn't pick up the noise as well. It's a little easier to get my voice a little better. Well, as better as I can get it anyway. So anyway, the challenge is that the audio is off from the video feed through the QuickTime doing it this way. But the nice part is it's exactly the same amount off every time. It's off 4 frames. So all I've got to do is slide the audio forward, split them out, slide the audio forward 4 frames, and then they're synced up. It's really quick to do. I can do it in QuickTime. Well, I can't do it in QuickTime. I can do it in ScreenFlow, which is the program I use most of the time. But I can also do it in Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere or any of the other programs. I mainly use ScreenFlow even when I'm not doing a screencast because it really is a pretty good program, layering files. It gives you some simple text tools. It's like a real basic video editor, but it's really powerful in the fact that I can capture my screen and lay it in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over and show how I sync those up and how I use it in ScreenFlow, and I'm going to have the setup so I can turn and talk to the camera while I can do it, and then I'll overlay that, and I might even show you a little bit about how I do that process. So let's jump over the computer. We'll stop this video, throw it in the computer, and then start everything back up again. Okay, so all I have to do is open up QuickTime Player, go New Movie Recording, select my CamLink as my video source, and of course I need to select my audio source, which in this case is my Scarlett USB interface. Hit the record button, and now I'm recording to the computer. Now what happens when I record this, let's just record a quick few seconds, and then when I stop it, I can immediately review it, I can play it back, and then I just need to save it. I usually just click the close button and it will prompt me to save it.
Okay, so
and we won't do that here. Not sure why it started the audio up there, but anyway, that's all there is to it. Okay, so here in ScreenFlow, this is the clip that I just recorded, and all I've got to do is drag it into my timeline. And now I'm going to detach the audio so it's its own clip. Now what I usually do is I zoom into 100%, and then I just grab this timeline or this audio track and I go 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you zoom into 100%, it's really easy. Each click is basically 1 frame. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my endpoint. I'm going to scroll over here. We can zoom it back down a little bit now. I'm going to scroll over here to, let's go to this point right here. Mark my out point, Command Delete as a ripple delete. And now,
okay, so now I'm recording.
And I've got the audio going. I don't want to mess that up. So now what I've got going on is I've synchronized the audio, and I can go back and forth, talk to the camera, show things on the audio. Really pretty easy. So it's something I've been looking for a while. It makes it a lot easier. I've done a couple videos with this now, and it sure made it a lot smoother. It's a pretty reasonably priced device. I'll put a link below on where you can grab one. And also the cable's sort of important. I've got one cable that I like so far, and I bought a couple of longer ones that I'm going to test those. And I'll drop a comment on the and a link, add a link to those cables. They're longer, and we'll see how well they work. So anyway, if you're trying to do a little video as you're talking to a camera, or if you're trying to shoot location video and you've got a kind of a set, your camera's on a tripod and you're really not moved around and you just don't want to bother with an SD card, something to check out. So anyway, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I've got some more content. This is getting to be a little more consistent for me. I've got 2 or 3 videos in the works now. I'm going to try to get to one a week now that I'm kind of retired, and it's the main thing I'm doing. So until next time, see ya.